For years, I've been using these limo studio lights that I purchased as part of a kit off Amazon. The kit included the two lights that you see on each side of me with the large soft boxes, but also included two additional umbrella lights as well as the stands for each. Not only did the kit include the four lights, but it also came with a green screen and the stands and frame for hanging that as well. I think I purchased the entire kit for about $150 US. And I've been using the lights and green screen for several years now. I haven't had any issues with them, and the only thing I've ever done to improve the setup was purchase brighter CFL bulbs for the two softbox lights that I use with my green screen when I'm live streaming. However, as you can see, they take up quite a bit of space with the large softboxes as well as the feet of the stands, to make sure that they don't tip over. When I purchased these, LED panels weren't quite as affordable as they are now, nor as popular. While the prices have gotten better, the most popular option for streamers, the Elgato key light, will still set you back $199 US. Not wanting to spend $400 on new lights, I've just continued using the lights I already have. While they take up a bunch of space, they do the job and they do it quite well. However, recently, a company named GODOX reached out to me to see if they could send me one of their LED key lights to take a look at and see if I, would do a review on it. Since I was interested in switching to LED anyways and specifically wanted desk mountable lights like this one, I thought to myself, oh, why the hell not? And next thing you know, I'm sitting here with this light next to me making this review. So, this is my review of the GODOX LEDP260C key light, a competitor to the Elgato key light at half the price with a ton of great features. As of the time of making this video, it currently costs $99 US on Amazon compared to Elgato's at $199. Welcome back to the channel, friends. If you're a regular here on the channel, don't forget to drop a like and leave the hashtag OMG down in the comments below, just so I know who you are. If you're new around here and you like videos related to streaming like this one, don't forget to subscribe by hitting the red subscribe button below and ring the bell next to it to be notified when I post new videos. Also, I stream on Twitch every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday evening, so if you have any questions or feedback about today's video, feel free to drop in and say hello whenever you see me live. The link for that is here on the screen or down in the description below. All right. With the formalities out of the way, let's dive in. There is one big way that the Elgato beats the GODOX light, in my opinion, that I want to mention right off the bat: the Elgato Ecosystem. Unlike the GODOX, the Elgato key light can integrate not only with your computer directly to control things like the color temperature as well as the brightness directly from your PC using Elgato software, but it can also integrate directly with other Elgato products like their Stream Deck, allowing you to do some pretty cool stuff with just the press of a button. While this isn't necessarily a deal breaker for me, as I don't use a ton of Elgato's products to begin with, I do think it's important to mention, as if you are already invested in their ecosystem, it may be worth the extra cost in order for everything to just, play nice together and just work. The GODOX does come with a remote control that allows you to adjust all of the settings without needing to access the light, and both offer similar specs in terms of brightness, color temperature ranges, and build quality. This means how you plan on using the light and whether you are already tied into the Elgato ecosystem is what's going to be the bigger factor when deciding which one will work better for you. Where the GODOX really excels, though, is the fact that it offers much more features that allow the light to be used not just for live streaming, but for any purpose you may have when it comes to creating content. That, and it costs half the price. For example, you can change the settings for the Elgato key light with your smartphone using Elgato's app if you want to use it away from your PC. However, the GODOX, as I said, has a separate remote that you can use if you're wanting to use this product somewhere else and not tie up your smartphone. Not only that, but if you don't feel like using or bringing the remote at all or messing around on your phone, you can also change the settings directly on the GODOX on the back of the unit using the controls and the built-in LCD screen. With the Elgato, you must use their app because there are no physical controls on the actual light. While this isn't a huge issue, out in the field, I find it much easier to just be able to walk up to the back of the light I'm working with and make some quick adjustments if needed. Also, not only can the GODOX light be plugged in via AC power, like the Elgato, but it can also run off Sony NP970 camera batteries, allowing you to run the light even if you're using it in a place where you don't have an electrical outlet. The GODOX also uses an industry standard connector that allows you to mount it to universal light stands and tripods, whereas the Elgato uses their own standard for mounting, thus making it more difficult to just throw it on a light stand or tripod if needed. The included remote can operate the light from up to 65 feet away using Wi-Fi between the light and the remote control, letting you adjust settings easily even from a distance. It also allows you to change between 6 different groups, so you can have different lights being controlled via one remote, and then it has 16 different frequency channels, which is a huge deal to professionals because you might be using other things triggered via Wi-Fi like camera flashes or your phone's Wi-Fi connected to your DSLR or mirrorless camera or whatever the case may be. It features 260 LED lights, 128 yellow and 128 white, and it can be adjusted from 100% brightness all the way down to 10% brightness with a max lux of 2050 if you're using 3300 Kelvin or a lux of 2200 if you're using 5600 Kelvin. Speaking of Kelvin values, you can adjust the color temperature of the GODOX light from a warm yellow temp of 3300 Kelvin to a nice cool blue or daylight temp of 5600 Kelvin. I will mention here that the Elgato key light does offer a little bit better range with a range of 2900 Kelvin to 7000 Kelvin, but honestly, both have good enough temperature range to allow it to match either tungsten or daylight light sources. The GODOX also features a CRI or color rendering index of 95 plus for each of their panels. The scale goes from 0 to 100, and having a higher CRI rating means that the light should produce better or truer colors. Any CRI rating of higher than 90 is considered high and should provide you with colors that are more true to life. For example, here on screen now are some images showing you the difference between light with a lower CRI rating versus a higher CRI rating. We can see the same fruit looks entirely different and more vivid and brightly colored with a higher CRI rating. Even the person and colors on the color cards look more true to life with a higher CRI as well. In regards to the Elgato key light, I know they use OSRAM LEDs, which come in a variety of CRI ratings as well, including 80 plus, 90 plus, or even 97 plus. However, I've reached out to Elgato to get confirmation as to which LEDs they are using from them. But as of the time of recording this video, I haven't gotten any response, which honestly makes me a bit sus. I've been playing way too much Among Us. All right, in all honesty, they could have a high CRI rating as well. In terms of weight, the GODOX comes in at about 2.8 pounds with the panel and desk mount combined, whereas the Elgato claims to have a weight of 2.86 pounds, according to their website. The GODOX panel is a little larger at approximately 528 millimeters wide by about 390 millimeters tall, and a bit thicker at about 70 millimeters, compared to the Elgato, which is approximately 350 millimeters wide by 250 millimeters high, with a thickness of 30 millimeters. So both come in at about the same in terms of weight, yet as mentioned previously, the GODOX offers more features, thus making the panel a touch larger in size. However, overall both seem to be built really well and from good materials that seem like they will last for quite some time. So honestly, no complaints against either in this department. The bottom line is that the Elgato key light was built with a streamer in mind when it was designed, and things like controls on the lights or being able to run off battery power just weren't included as features, as honestly, it does make more sense to just control the lights directly from your PC if you're using them for streaming or from a Stream Deck. However, in my opinion, if you're spending this much on a light, I'd much rather be able to use the light for other purposes besides just streaming. And sure, While you can use the Elgato key light for other purposes and even use adapters and stuff to mount it to normal tripods and use their app to change settings instead of physical buttons, the GODOX is just superior in ease of use when it comes to anything that doesn't require you sitting directly in front of a PC and using the light. Again, if you're already tied into the Elgato ecosystem, it may make sense to pay the extra money and get the Elgato key light, but even if you are, is it really that big of a deal to use a remote to adjust the settings of your light and then have the ability to use it more freely with other creative projects as well? Especially at half the cost, plus with all the extra features you get? Well, that's a question only you can answer. But in using this GODOX light, I can say that while I love Elgato's products and think that they produce some high quality gear, it just isn't worth the extra cost to me or the lack of features when compared to the GODOX key light. Obviously, as with most of these types of reviews, I've not had the light long enough to speak on what typically is the most important aspect of any product like this, longevity. However, if you're watching this video at a later date than when it was first published, and you want to get an update as to how it's performing later on down the line and if it's still working fine and everything, then just a reminder that I do stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday over on Twitch TV. And again, I'll put the link here on the screen as well as down in the description below. Also, if you like this video, if you like this review and want to see other videos and reviews like this related to streaming, reviews, and all of that stuff, make sure you hit the red subscribe button below, as well as ring the bell next to it to be notified when I post new videos. And until next time, peace out, everybody.